Welcome to Patty's Aquatics and welcome to my fish room. So today what I got for you guys is I want to do some tank maintenance, but I want to do tank maintenance on my Oscar dirted tank here. It is so overgrown with plants, which isn't a bad thing, but I want to weed that out a little bit and show you guys exactly what I do when I trim plants in one of my dirty tanks and see kind of the progression of it from what it looks like before and what it looks like after. So let's turn this camera on and I'll give you a closer look. All right, so as you can see, this tank is very overrun with plants. Like again, like I said, is not a bad thing for this guy. Lots of plants and a heavy plant load. It just helps so much with getting rid of a lot of the excess nutrients that this guy would create in this aquarium. So I want to thin it out a little bit. The water is a little low, obviously, right now because it does need a water change, and I will do that after I trim some of these plants. But to take a closer look, there's lots of guppy grass in here. And when I trim some of that out of here, it's going to open it up some. A lot of this Ludwigia and everything up here grows so tall, it folds over onto the top. So I want to trim those off, replant them down into the substrate. Same thing, I have some Pogostem and Stellatus octopus in the back. I also want to do that, trim them, put them back down into the substrate. And I'm also going to be getting a filter for this tank, a sponge filter from Aquarium Co-op. One of them like I have in my puffer tank and the other tanks that have that easy spout on it or whatever it's called, where it shoots the water up at the surface. I want to put that in here somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. I know I can't put it back in that area because that's his little hideout spot that he hangs out behind the weeds. So it's got to be over here somewhere. But I wanted, like I said, let's trim these plants first and then we'll talk a little bit there. I'll put the camera here on a tripod and you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm doing. All right, so as you would have seen through all that little time lapse of trimming and water changes, it's a little bit of a difficult task trying to trim all these plants in this aquarium and then get them back down into the substrate. That is one thing that I found to be a little difficult with this egg crate that I have in here. Is the sand cap on top of it isn't as thick as I would have liked, so it's really hard to get push plants down through it. You really got to push them through the actual holes of the egg crate, which is a little difficult. And I did add a little bit more sand in here. If you did not see that to the front, I had a little extra to kind of give a little more sand itself in here. So that's one thing I did do. That's why the water is a little milky cloudy right now because of that. I also, if you didn't see, I'm really suffering from this It's not duckweed. I do have duckweed, but it's a smaller duckweed in here, and it's only in this tank, and it's a pain in the butt. So I try to take my python and siphon some of that out. Other than that, I have to take a little cup and just keep cupping it out of there and taking it out and taking it out, which is very, very time consuming, but it is what it is. So now, as you can see, the plants themselves, the tank itself is pretty bare compared to what it looked like. But I did save all that Ludwigia so that I can put it all back down into the plant, into the substrate, so it can grow back up again. That guppy grass, I do not like it, but it plays a purpose in this tank with not only pulling nutrients out of the water, it also helps kind of fill in a little bit. So also that filter I told you that I plan on getting, I think I'm going to put it back in this corner and then have that easy flow come up here and shoot out over the center. Then maybe I can get rid of the wave maker that I have in here. But other than that, the tank has been doing great. Algae itself has kind of subsided in this tank. And another thing I do want is I want to add a food web to this aquarium yet. I mentioned that in some past videos that I want to use my nature aquarium that I collected and put them in here. I am not going to throw a resurrection jar in here because if you haven't seen those past videos, I don't find that to be safe any longer. And I'm going to do it this way. I just haven't figured out exactly the way that I want to do it so it's successful. So that is still in the works. I may add more plants to this thing eventually too. I'd like to switch over to get more types of swords and crypts now that this tank is almost a year old set up. I really want to get some of these slower growing ones that I don't need to maintain as much. It'll just be much easier in here with this guy. So that's in the future as well. So other than that, tank maintenance on my Oscar tank and really any type of dirted tank itself, it's a matter of a lot of plant trimming because you're going to get a lot of growth with all the nutrient filled soil that you have in these aquariums, and your plants grow very fast. Now, plants can grow very fast in other aquariums too. I just found that in these dirted aquariums, I get a lot faster plant growth, but time will tell with my other aquariums and see how that goes as well. But that's Sparkles, and this is Sparkles Tank, and this was our tank maintenance. I hope you enjoyed it. If you not subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And always remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. I hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics. Sparkle says bye.